Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In case you're new here, my name is Elizabeth, and if you're not new here, welcome back. Well, it's that time of month again. It is time for our monthly wrap-up. However, today I am not in my car. It is actually a really nice day down here in South Florida, so I decided to come to my local park. I was here on Sunday and we rented a shelter because we had like a little party, and this area is really nice. Just look. I have a little lake back there. You can see it better. Oh no, not over there, but over there. I don't know if you can see it. There's like a massive iguana right there. I'll see if I can go ahead and get him or her at home to point him out even more, because geez, that thing is massive. But yes, it's part of living in South Florida. We do have a lot of iguanas down here. Honestly, I don't bother them and they don't bother me, so I am good. Anyways, I managed to read, let me look at my Goodreads. I think I read a total of 5 books. So yay, I did one more than my average, because my average is usually 4 books. But oh my god, like last month I told you guys that I started reading Cinder and I couldn't put it down. Spoiler, you have to read the whole series to get to the end and to see what happens between Cinder and the Queen. So that is exactly what I did, because I can't wait. Like, I can't read books in between series because then I forget what happens. So I am so glad that all the books are out and I was able to read them all. So literally as soon as I finished Cinder, I picked up Scarlet. Now I got this book from the library, but this is like the actual cover. It is gorgeous. Like, this is the old cover. I do prefer the newer covers, but I'm not gonna complain. This one is really nice. Anyway, so in Scarlet, it's like a little Red Riding Hood retelling. So Scarlet, she's looking for her grandmother, and then she lives in a little small town in France, off I think like the outskirts of Paris. But she's looking for her grandmother who has been kidnapped. So wherever she goes to sell her tomatoes, because she owns like a farm that she sells like the produce to like a local bar there. There's this guy, he gets into a fight, and then like one of her coworkers is like, oh, but he's really good looking and all this good stuff. So when she meets him, she ends up falling for him, and they call him Wolf. I don't know how much more to say, because you know it is the second book in a series. But either way, we're introduced to Scarlet and Wolf, and together, of course, they help Cinder in her journey to stop the Queen. I would say that this book, like, some parts confused me, because at the beginning, for example, let me show you. It'll tell you, for example, like 15. So it'll tell you the number of the chapter, but it won't tell you who the chapter is about. So sometimes you're reading a chapter that it's about Cinder, and then you know you have the mentality that like, oh, okay, I'm reading about Cinder because all the books are in third person. But then the next chapter you're talking about Scarlet, and I had to reread some of it, like, what, wait, who am I talking about? Is it Scarlet or Cinder? And it just goes between the two girls, Scarlet and Cinder. And then yes, there is a plot line as to eventually at the end of the series how Scarlet has helped Cinder, and technically how she is linked to Cinder. I cannot tell you any more than that because it would be a spoiler. For this one, just like Cinder, 5 stars. Like, I think it was this one, or maybe it was the next one, that had me giggling and like laughing, like smiling like a stupid smile. It was so much fun to read. I think I read this one. This one in particular is kind of chunky. This one is 565 pages. So this one was a bit big, but it's okay. I read her in a week. So whenever you're done with this one, you need to pick up the next book in the series, which is Cress. Again, I borrowed this one from my library because even though I read it on my Kindle, I know I prefer to have the hardcover. And don't ever be afraid to borrow from your library, because books are expensive. I mean, I have the rest of the series in my cart to buy them off Barnes & Noble whenever I get a chance, but books are expensive. And I've bought a lot lately, so I kind of have to chill it with that. Anyways, look at this book. She's massive, but I read it. Took me a little bit longer than a week, but I read it. So Cress is kind of like a Rapunzel retelling. Cress is a girl that she's lunar. She is been living her whole life in a satellite, kind of like Rapunzel living in a tower, but she's been living her whole life in a satellite. Now you discover that she's a shell, so that means that she can't be, for example, the Lunars have a magical gift where they can glamour themselves up and they can like lie to you, so they can make you look like something or someone that they really aren't, which is something that the queen does, because the queen, she has, for example, a little spoiler, but she's got a scarred face. It shows you why, but if you don't know that, you would never see it, because she disguises it so that you wouldn't be able to see her flaws. So anyways, a shell is someone that they can't like glamour, they can't hide who they are, because the shell can see straight through that. So all the shells were killed. But the queen's, I want to say apprentice, but like her helper decided for some reason to keep Cress, and she became really good at like hacking and computer stuff. So they actually used her for that. That's why she would live in the satellite. And then Cress has been on the hunt for Cinder to help the queen. But then in Scarlet, you're introduced to Thorn, which he's earthen, so he's an earth person. He's not lunar or anything, so he's just like you and me. But he also plays a role in helping Cinder in her quest to, you know, fight the queen, or, you know, do whatever she needs to do with the queen. Cress has been observing Thorn, and she's like madly in love with him. So Cress kind of reveals herself to Cinder and Scarlet and Wolf and Thorn to say, hey, you know, I'm not an enemy, I'm your friend, you guys can go ahead and trust me. This is what the plan is. So they meet up with Cress, or they want to meet up with Cress to bring her onto like their side, to be all together, to continue formulating this plan. But then when they're gonna like dock to get her out of the satellite to where the rest of the people are, there's a trap where her and Thorn get like put on a path to Earth to like be destroyed. But Cress is able to like stop that, and although they do have a rough landing on Earth, they do manage to get to Earth and to survive. Now at this point, Thorn has an accident, like he hits himself in the head and he's lost his vision. So he needs to rely on Cress, who has never in her life been on Earth, to kind of like navigate where they're at. So they end up falling in like this desert in the middle of Africa. And they meet these people that take them, you know, to the city. They're like the closest city in Africa, so that they can get medical help for Cress. And it just takes up from there. This one is just like the banter, because Cress, she's scared of everything. I mean, I understand she's never been to Earth. So imagine you go into a new place, even though you speak the language, but you don't know what to encounter. You know, she had no idea how brutal the desert can be. She had no need for shoes up in space, so she had no shoes. Thorn had to help her with the shoes and do all of that, you know? So it's a big shock for her, but she manages to pull through. This one, I think, was the one that had me giggling and like smiling to myself. This book was really fun. It is longer, and spoiler alert, they get longer as they progress. But this one was another 5-star read. So far in the series, I had 3 5-star reads. After you read this one, you go, or you don't have to, but it comes with a novela called Fairest. Now this one is about the queen and how she became how she is. It's kind of her backstory. I gave this one 2 stars because honestly, did I need to read it? No. I feel kind of bad that she suffered as a child at the hands of her sister, but I don't know. It's like the origin story for her, but I don't know. I just gave it 2 stars. It was nice to understand where she's coming from and how she became who she became, you know, and who her first husband was, because that really was the love of her life. She's mentioned it before. And why is she no longer married? That's also explained in this book. But I don't know. Honestly, I feel that if I didn't read it, I would have been just fine without reading it. Now, unfortunately, like none of my local libraries have a copy of Winter because somebody has it checked out. So I'll put like the what the book looks like here. Oh my god, that book took me forever and a day to read. I was like, goodness, I read it on my Kindle. I was like, goodness, why is it taking me like 2 weeks to read this book? So I went out to Barnes & Noble, and the book is almost 900 pages long. I felt that book dragged on a little bit, like it gave too many details that I feel did not need to be there. Who is Winter? She is the stepdaughter of the queen. She lives on Luna, which is the moon, with her stepmother. Now, where her father is, you honestly have to read this one to figure that out, because her father passed away. But you find out in this one how he passed away. And I feel that this book, like the author Marissa Mayer, she tried to portray kind of mental illness, because Winter suffered kind of from that. Like she would see the walls bleeding and things like that, where nobody else saw that. So Scarlet is kind of like her pet. That's explained. But Scarlet is like her pet, and Scarlet would call her crazy and things like that. You know, things. Mind you, these books are older. They're not like brand new books. But I think that the author did try to portray like some type of mental illness in the book. I felt Winter was very whiny. She's only 1 year older than Cinder, mind you. But I felt she was very whiny. Yes, at the end, I see how she was useful to Cinder and the gang in the quest. But I just feel that the other characters were a lot more useful than Winter was. Winter honestly was like my least favorite book out of the series. And I did not like the ending. Oh my god, it like, to me, the ending left me wanting more. After reading Winter, I was gonna pick up Heartless by Marissa Mayer, but I didn't get like that romantic feeling that I wanted to have at the end, because everything goes down with the queen and how it happened. It all goes down, but it's like, and then something happens between Cinder and Kai, who's the emperor, and it was just like, ooh, so frustrating that what I wanted to happen didn't happen. That's in a different book, but I have to read Heartless and the Renegades trilogy, which I plan on doing, before reading like that final book, because if you read it, it says that it has spoilers for those other 4 books, so I don't want to spoil the book, so I'm gonna have to read those books to then go back to read like the final book in the Lunar Chronicles. But that just left me in like a romantic mood, so I picked up kind of like a romance book that we'll talk about in November, because I am maybe halfway through the book right now. But Winter, I believe I gave it, let me look at I gave it 4 stars, because there were parts where like the action was really good and I was able to picture it in my head exactly as it was happening, but then other parts were just like so boring, so dragged on, like information that did not need to be there. But other than that, it was good. As a series, what would I give it? 5-star series. Yes, Winter was a little long. It was like to me, my personal opinion, kind of like the dud of the books, but that's okay. You know, there's a book for everyone. That was just my honest opinion. And I forgot to get this book when I came to the park today after work. I forgot to get it, but you guys are gonna be so proud of me. I did it. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. There is an iguana. Hold on. It is looking at me. Watch this. Hold on. You see it right there? Right between the legs? That thing just moved, and it was like in my peripheral vision. That was scary. But see, it's looking at me. I'm not touching it, but it's looking at me. I don't know what it wants, but all I can say is that it scared me. Anyways, I'm so sorry about that. Anyways, like I was saying, I did it, guys. I read Beauty and the Beast, Lost in a Book. I will put it up here because I forgot to bring my physical book, but I read it. I could have read it in one day because it's a short book. It's like 350 pages, but I was so tired. I could not finish reading it that day, and then the week came, and it took me a while to finish reading. Honestly, like shame for the last 50 pages, but it's okay. I did it. So that book, imagine the live action of Beauty and the Beast. So it's come to the point where the Beast has gifted Belle the library, but everyone in the castle is always so busy that she starts to feel alone. So you have Death and Love. They are 2 sisters that are constantly going at it. And Death, you know, and obviously they have the whole, like, you know, the Beast is gonna die with the rose and that curse. All of that plays a role in the book. But then they're like, oh, Love is like, no, Belle is gonna fall in love with the Beast. You know, you're not gonna be able to win her, like to kill her, like to kill the Beast. You know, they're gonna fall in love and the curse is gonna be lifted, yada yada yada. But Death doesn't like to lose. So what does she do? She cheated. She created a book called Nevermore that appealed to Belle. So one day, as her, like everybody else, like Mrs. Potts and Cogsworth and Lumiere, as they're helping her clean the library, everyone else is leaving because they have like other duties that they need to fulfill. She finds like this little like slot that she didn't even know was there. So when she opens it, the book Nevermore is there. And as she gets closer, the book gets bigger. And it's inviting her because she's starting to feel lonely inside the castle. Like I said, everyone else has duties to attend to. You know, the Beast is off doing God knows what. He's always busy, and then Lumiere is busy too. Mrs. Potts taking care of the kitchen and all that stuff. So as she's starting to feel lonely, that book was very appealing to her because she was able to walk through it and be like anywhere she wanted. So when she walks in, she meets the Countess. What she doesn't know, and you kind of figure it out because it is for like 10 and 12-year-olds, so it's like a middle grade book, is that the Countess is deaf. And she starts interacting in this world, and she's falling in love with this world. But then she knows she has some responsibilities back at the castle. So she leaves, she comes and goes out of the book. But she gets a warning from like these little bugs. It was a spider, and I forgot what the other one was. But they spell things for her. Like she can't eat 3 objects, and she can't leave 3 objects behind. If not, she is bound to the book forever and will not be able to leave the book whenever she wants, like she's been doing now. So that's basically the whole point of the book. She feels lonely, she goes into the book. She interacts with the characters of the book, and she comes out whenever it's time to fulfill a responsibility that she has back in the castle, and so forth. I liked the book. It was a very easy read. Like I said, I could have finished it in one day. I was just so exhausted at the end of the day that I could not bring myself to finish it. It is kind of young, and it's just like the way that they portrayed it is like I did not see Belle acting the way that she was in the book. Like I didn't see it. I would have to rewatch the live action because I haven't seen it in a while. But it's like, doesn't she have a mirror that shows her the outside world anyways? I mean, I know she does in the cartoon, but isn't it the mirror in the movie too? So it's like, if she has the mirror, why would she need the book? Because like in the book takes her to Paris. But in the movie, I know that you see like why her mom is not around. In the live action movie, mind you, why her mom is not around. You don't see that in the book. She just goes to Paris, to have a party in Paris because Paris is beautiful. It doesn't bring like the story of the mom. So I don't know, I just found some discrepancies about that kind of made me like, But all in all, I did give it 3 stars, which is not bad. I'm kind of biased, I'm sorry. I love Belle. And it really wasn't that bad. It kept me really entertained. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a little disappointed, I guess, because I hyped it up for myself so much that it didn't live up to my expectations. I just thought it would be different. That's all. It wasn't a bad book by any means. It's great for any Beauty of the Beast fan or any Disney fan in general. It just, like I said, I think I just overhyped it for me. Either way, thank you so much for watching this video. I read a total of 5 books this month. I am really happy. Okay, now I have a squirrel. Hi. Oh gosh, it's getting closer. Hold on, I'll show you. So cute. Oh, nope. The squirrel just ran away. Never mind. I guess I thought I was going to give it food. I did not have food, but the squirrel scared me too. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, like I said, and I cannot wait to see how many books I'm able to read in November, considering that I have a whole week off in November for Thanksgiving break from work, and hopefully I can get in some more reading done during that week. So thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and click the subscribe button and click the little bell so that you can be reminded of my future uploads. And let me know down in the comments what books you read this month and if you've read any of the ones that I read. Thank you so much for watching again. Bye.